Hello, everyone. I have been encouraged to continue my I'm building an army list series of tutorials, and this one is going to be for the Finns. Now, the Finns are in many ways the best army and the worst of the game. They do have the best infantry, but they're also very, very limited in that it's basically only the infantry that's really good and special. So in many ways, if you're running a Finnish army, you have to be comfortable with that style of play, the skirmish infantry style of play, which is what they're really good at. So I am going to build a 1,000-point Finnish list here today. And let me just share my screen and we'll get started. So I've opened the easy army here. Onto the Finnish section. And you can see the theater selectors here. We have a tank platoon, the continuation war selectors, and the winter war and the war in Lapland. Now, for most of the events that I attend, it's only the Finnish generic reinforced platoon that you can take. So that is what I'm going to build. If you can take other stuff, I'm not sure I would even recommend it, because these other selectors don't really add anything good to the Finns, and I'll get into why that is later on when I show you the actual infantry that you can pick. So I'm running a generic reinforced platoon. Now, with the Finns, I don't think you need to try and run dual platoons, so I'm going to try and do a single platoon here. But you do need many different styles of things with the Finns. And one of the things that you have to take is you have to max out on your infantry. Now, let's go and watch the infantry, because this is also the best part of Finns, of course. There are these 5 types of infantry, so not a lot to choose from, but all of them are basically good. We have the Winter War Rifle Squad, which is box standard infantry. They can be regulars or they can be veterans. You can give them tough fighters. You can have 80 grenades. You can have skis if you want to. I wouldn't recommend this for tournament play, but having a winter-themed table with Finnish ski troops on it, that really is very thematic, isn't it? But this infantry isn't really good in any particular way. I would not recommend buying the submachine guns or the light machine gun. The light machine gun is too expensive, and the submachine gun takes away a rifle, and the rifles are what's good with the Finnish infantry anyway. And there's nothing special here, right? You can buy tough fighters, but would you want it? Maybe. You're not wanting assault infantry here anyway. This is not assault type infantry. They don't have any special rules that benefit assault, so no. So what I would normally recommend is going with the 4 last ones. And here again, we're like cutting it down competitively. So we have the continuation war, we have the Chikaris, we have the Sissies, and we have the Kaukopashos. Now the Kaukopashos, let me first put those aside. These are the most expensive infantry of the game. Look at this. You can buy 9 men for 207 points if you really want to. 5 men, before you do anything, is 115 points. They have submachine guns and anti-tank grenades. They come equipped with those, and you're already paying the points for those, by the way. They're not free or anything. You're paying points for this. And you can also equip each of them with a rifle, which you might want to do if you want to run Kaukopashos, because that will give them range as well. So you can actually hit something out at long range. But most of the times, this will not actually be needed anyway, because the Kaukopashos, they're not there for their submachine guns, because submachine guns on veteran infantry, okay, what do we care? that's just like Soviet scouts or whatever. No, they are there for their special rules. The Calcapachos have fanatics. Each of them are medics, so every time you get hit with a small arms fire shot, you roll a d6, and on a 6, that guy survives. They have tank hunters because they have anti-tank grenades, and you can have the ski special rule as well. The deep strike missions, that is what is the best thing of all, because that means that when you're outflanking, you can have the Calcapachos come on from the enemy's board edge, from where his reserves are coming on. They can come from there, walking straight into the back line of the enemy. Perfect. Really fun to play, exceedingly expensive. It's so expensive that it actually becomes detrimental, because what will typically happen is your Calcapachos will come on beautifully just behind that heavy howitzer. They'll spray it down with their submachine guns. It dies. Next turn, your Calcapachos get shot by everything in the enemy army. They die. End. That was the whole story of the Calcapachos. So are they worth it? No. Typically, they will not kill the amount of points that they're worth. They are a good board control, because they will, especially if the enemy knows about Calcapachos, they will freak him out because, oh, he can come behind me. So you can do like mental gymnastic games with the Calcapachos, but competitively, I wouldn't run them. And especially I wouldn't run them because they're not benefiting from the special rules of the Finnish army. Typically, once they get shot at, they go down. They die because the enemy will shoot them. They will finish that unit. So they're not getting to benefit from the I'll become veteran, special veteran, extra super veteran rule. Nor do they really benefit from the rifle rule, because typically they're using submachine guns. Yes, they can have the few rifles, but you don't want them to be on ambush. You want them to hit something and kill it. Also, fanatics. Fanatics really works in close combat. Typically, these guys will never see close combat because the enemy will not charge you, and they will not allow you to charge them. So yes, they are good, but they're not worth their points. Sorry to anyone who loves the Calcapacho. I love them myself. I really want this unit to be a little bit cheaper so that it's within like points value that it could work. So for me, that leaves 3 units. We've already rejected the Winter Wall. We've rejected the Calcapachio. Let's reject the Jakaris. Now, the Jakaris are basically assault infantry. You can buy them veteran. You can buy them to up to 11 men. Really expensive, huge Death Star type unit. They have rifles, but what you buy them for is that they can all take submachine guns for 1 point. Pretty cheap submachine gun, so that might be worth it. You can now also buy Panzerfausts. Never buy the light machine gun. You can have bicycles, you can have skis, and you can be tough fighter if you want to. Remember, don't buy both tough fighter and the submachine gun. No reason to do that. Jakaris, if you're buying them with submachine guns, that will make them assault infantry. Typically, you'll not want assault infantry in a Finnish list, but you can. Like 1 unit of these might be good. For me, no. My Finns are going to be skirmishers. So I'm also cutting these out and saying I'm down to 2 types of units. I'm down to the Continuation War and the CC Recon. Now, Continuation War units, I think you should take these, and I think you should take them at 8 men. You want your Finns to have an even number of men in the units, because if you have 8 men in your unit, once you lose 4, the remaining 4 become veteran, right? Or super veteran if they start out as veteran before. If you buy 7 men, an uneven number, you're still losing 4 guys before that special rule kick in. So you're optimizing how many men you have left in your unit by buying an even number. And I think for skirmish infantry, you can go 6 men. I think I would rather go 8, and I think for the Finns, want to spend the points on infantry. So I am buying regulars, and I want them to be regulars because that will mean they're cheaper, and because they have that Finnish special rule, they will become veteran once they lose 4 guys. So that is what I want to do. I do not want to have submachine guns. Nope, no way to do that. But they can take Panzerfausts, and I do want double Panzerfausts here because I want them to be a threat to enemy armor, basically. I don't want tough fighter. These are skirmishers. They're going to stay on my side of the board, flowing back and forth, shooting at the enemy, basically, and keeping the enemy's darker stewards at least 12 inches from my lines. So that is what I'm buying. Come on. And I'm buying 2 of these continuation war units. Again, 8 men, double Panzerfausts. Go. Good. We also need a lieutenant, and oh, do I want him to be first lieutenant? No. Sorry, I want to save up the points, but I do want him to have extra men. And this is like the one army where I think I will equip them with rifles, because on ambush, they're pretty good. You can go submachine gun if you want to, but I'm giving him an extra man. It makes him more survivable. Still, it's a small unit. Yeah, I think that's good. Now, and here comes the point where I'm going to spend points. I'm going to take every single infantry choice I can, and the rest are going to be sissy recon units. And we're buying, again, 8-man veteran infantry. The sissies are the greatest unit of the game, in my opinion, my humble opinion. They are the best skirmishers. Again, you can buy submachine guns, light machine guns. You don't want to do any of that. But I do want to buy tough fighter. Because I want them to be at least a credible threat in close combat so that the enemy doesn't approach me too near. Because these guys are really good skirmishers. They have Master of the Hunt, which means that once I move, I can advance and then go on ambush. And from ambush, I shoot at a +1 because I'm a Finn. So that combo is playing into the Finnish national special rules, is playing into what this infantry is good at. So I'm going to need those rifles to be on ambush, shooting at a +1 all the time. This is the best infantry unit with the best combo because the rules really benefit them. The best skirmish unit of the game, basically. Here we go. And I'm buying 3 of these. So here I'm spending the points, you can see, right? And I'm making them tough fighter, every single one. Because that will mean that the enemy infantry also stays a little bit further away. And even their assault type troops will maybe not want to charge me because I'm tough fighter, I may be in terrain, and I definitely am on ambush. So maybe not charge anyway, right? So I will get to shoot every single time. So see, 600 points. Now I'm going to have something that can benefit my skirmish infantry, something that can reach out and basically mess up the enemy. So I'm going to need to have mortars. Now I can go medium, but for Finns, I actually think you might want to go heavy mortar. Regular heavy mortar with a spotter. Why? Because you're going to need to get that extra bang. You're going to need to have something that's extra dangerous, and that heavy mortar is pretty gruesome when it hits. You also want some artillery, medium or heavy, either or. I think I'm going to go with the medium one. It has a gun shield, so my regulars become veterans when they get shot at. I again want the spotter, because with Finns you're going to win the sniper duels. That is going to happen. So right now I'm buying the indirect fire to back up my line of skirmish infantry, something that can reach down to his back line and still make him suffer. Of course, I need a sniper. It is going to be a veteran one. Why? Because I don't want him to die to the first enemy sniper that shoots at me. This also has Master of the Hunt, by the way, so I can move and go in ambush. Like that. Right. So that is 832 points just buying the infantry. So we're going to need to save points and not spend on expensive stuff. I think I want a flamethrower team as well. It's just such a useful little team. And I will... something that I can move up with. I'm going to go and buy a Comstomalette. Now the Comstomalette is pretty crappy, but it's a 7+ armored carrier. It's open topped. It is unreliable, so everything will be double pinned. But if you're just staying behind cover, it's 35 points, pretty cheap. And after it's delivered the flamethrower, you can always use it, like spray bullets at something, right? Right. Armored cars. You might want to take a BA-20, but nah. Only if you can get it with a flamethrower turret, right? No, I think we're going to have to go and look at tanks instead. Now, the T-28, that is a really good tank. It's going to be too expensive for me. But look, light howitzer, coaxial, turret-mounted MMG, turret-mounted MMG, pintle-mounted MMG. Oh man, I want this. Oh, sorry, I want it. Oh, that will cut down. I'm going to have to make savings on these. Oh man. I'm going to have to save because I want that tank back. I'm going to give you a few saving tips on these. You can save points. Okay. Go back. But we still need a mortar, so I'm going to go and get a medium mortar. Now the medium mortar is pretty good still, and it can deliver that indirect fire that you want, and mess up stuff. Man, I can't speak. And the light artillery, the light howitzer can as well. So I think we're going to go with that. Do I want? Yes, I can. The light howitzer will want to be on ambush most of the time, so I want the spotter to be on my mortar instead, because that is doing the indirect shooting. Here we go. That is it. That is my suggestion for how to run Finns. Let's look at the army list itself. Now, the army list is low on order dice. 12 order dice is pretty low, but that is what happens when you're buying all veterans. 997 points, so I have 3 points left over. I might buy some submachine guns, but I don't want them, so no. I have lieutenant with a second man. I can make this man another spotter for my artillery if I want to. I have 2 continuation war units with the Panzerfausts. They are going to threaten away the enemy armor, so they're going to spread out and make a line in front of my guns, keeping the enemy armor at bay. The CC recons are going to do most of the skirmishing, moving up, going on ambush, shooting, moving back, going on ambush, shooting. and I'll keep these close by so they can sort of support each other, making like more lines of fire on each unit that approaches. The flamethrower is going to stay in the console lead behind some line of sight blocking cover, again to threaten away enemy units that move up. That can threaten anything. It can threaten like an enemy veteran unit or an enemy tank, or it can get killed. The sniper is going to win the sniper duel first and then stay on ambush, deliver pain to the enemy once they move up. Light artillery is going to try and reach out and hit the enemy in their deployment zone, as is the mortar. And the Pastuna tank is going to support that with their light howitzer, and at the same time just spraying everything in front of it with MG shots. Right. That is my suggestion for what to do. Of course, the lieutenant is going to stay really close to the Pastuna tank because it's unreliable. It's going to get pinned. It's going to get double pinned, so it will need the lieutenant to make those order tests. So that is how you make a Finnish army list that works, I think. So good luck to all the Finnish players, and learn how to play skirmish infantry, because that's what you need to do. Cheers.